Hello and welcome to A View from the Car. An article came up in my news feed, as they so frequently do, all about the Lower Thames Crossing and how it's going to be the greenest road they've ever built. Let's get past this cyclist. It's going to be the greenest road they've ever built, and they're going to use farmland to soak up the, I don't know, the carbon footprint or whatever it is. I've said before that what they should do is explore why do we need a new Thames crossing. I mean, I know that it's jobs for the boys, I know that it keeps people in work, but surely, you know, do we need to be decimating yet more countryside on a crossing when the solution could be to improve public transport over the Thames at Dartford? You know, why do we need to ruin and desecrate yet more precious countryside? They talk about the carbon footprint, the amount of carbon that will be caused by all the diggers and machinery and just everything else. You know, I read a thing somewhere that it was going to be, they estimated, I don't know, 8 billion tons of carbon would be created. But the trouble is, they're so short-sighted. They don't really realise that the farmland they want to use is the farmland that they're decimating. Oh, let's use the land we're decimating to repair the land we're decimating. Bless them, they don't seem to understand. You know, if there's no more farmland because you've bulldozed all over it, then, you know, what are you going to do? Now, I think that they should start looking to the reasons why. See, the trouble is, we always address the symptoms in this country and we never address the actual problem. Why do we need a new Thames crossing? Well, because there's lots and lots of traffic and problems at Dartford. Why? Because there's lots of people wanting to use the crossing to get from Essex to Kent and so on and so forth. Why? Because they can't use the train, because the trains in this country are just either sky high, extortionately expensive. Just move that camera while I'm sitting. The cost is either out of this world. I mean, you know, we've all seen like Top Gear, where it was cheaper to buy and insure your own car and drive to Manchester yourself from London to Manchester than it was to just get on the train from London to Manchester. And you think, how does that even add up? How does that make any sense in this day and age? You know, it's cheaper to just buy a car and insure it temporarily than just use public transport. So obviously, I mean, look at all this traffic on the right there. Look at that. Now all that traffic is compiling into Medway because the trucks, you've got to exclude the trucks, they're doing a job. But all these cars, I mean, myself included, I'm in the car on my own, because where I need to go now, the public transport is just out of this world expensive, not very reliable, because I've got to come back to work later, and it just wouldn't be a good practice for me to get on the train. You know, but you've got all these cars flooding through, pouring into Dartford, but because the public transport, you've got to go all the way to London Bridge, then you've got to get a swap, and you know, these train stations are so enormous, it's just gargantuan. You know, so you've got to change platforms, you've got to run around the station, get on another train, go all the way down, and if it's one of those trains that splits, you know, you've got to make sure you're on the right part of the train because it's going to be splitting up at so and so. Do you know what I mean? It's But the answer to all of this is not to improve the public transport. The answer is to decimate yet more countryside. I mean, you look at these trees now. We're driving along past these trees. I've watched these trees grow up from saplings over the years. It takes a long time to get these trees. I've watched when they built this road, they planted saplings and it was good. And now here they are, the result. It takes a long time to repair. But they don't seem to realise that we need trees. Trees are the answer. You know, they soak up all the carbon that we, you know, they thrive on carbon. Trees love carbon dioxide and carbon, that's what they do. But no, we seem to live in a world where, well, we're just chopping trees down. They're in the way, we're chopping down. You know, there's farmland there, we'll just dig it up. Just dig it up, build a road, and then we'll use that land there. I had a guy at a development meeting once tell me that the wildlife will be better off once the land has been developed rather than just being left alone. And he honestly told me that, and he honestly expected me to believe it. Why are we travelling at 41 miles an hour? You can never just go anywhere, can you? This is the problem. The roads are busy and then they're full of idiots. So that doesn't help at all. Doesn't help even a little bit. You know, but I don't think they've truly. They just want to build a tunnel. But every idea they come up with, it just seems to be, I don't know, it's a non-starter, isn't it? It just, oh, we want to do this, we want to do that. Yeah, but you can't do this, you can't do that. Oh, but we'll do this instead, but you can't do this. It just seems to be, they want to build a tunnel. They want the work, and I understand why they want the work. They want to keep blokes working. I get it, I understand it. But at what cost do you keep blokes working? You know, that's the point. At what point do you say, well, you know, enough's enough. You know, let's look at why. You know, let's improve the buses. Let's improve the public transport. Let's make it more convenient. Let's send it to where people actually want to go. Because that's another thing. The public transport, anybody that's ever caught a bus before now will know that the buses never go where people want them to. I mean, in the Medway towns, if you want to go anywhere, say for instance you live in Lordswood and you want to go across town to the dockside, you want to go down towards St Mary's Island, you've got to get on a bus in Lordswood, you've got to ride into Chatham, you've got to change over at Chatham, stand in the bus station for a bit, you know, hopefully find the right bus stop where you need to be, you know, to get on another bus, and then do the same for your journey back. There's no direct, everything just flows into Chatham. It's like the spokes of a bicycle going into the hub, and nothing ever just, you can never just go anywhere directly. Somebody was telling me once, I mean, if you live down on Sheerness, you want to go to Maidstone, for instance. Now, in a car, you would just get on the A249, you'd drive south, you'd end up in Maidstone. But if you want to go to Maidstone from Sheerness on the train, you've got to get on the train at Sheerness, change at Sittingbourne, go to London somewhere, then get on another train and go all the way back to Maidstone. That's why the car is king, because it's just more convenient. You can just go where you want to go, and you haven't got to faff around too much. But the people in charge don't seem to realise this. Now in Kent, going east to west, west to east is great. You've got the M20, you've got the M2, which I'm on now. You know, going east to west is fantastic. You know, but going north to south, south to north is no good. It's just a non-starter. I mean, to go from Sheerness to London just to go south to Maidstone, you're going completely out of your way. You know, you're not. And then they go, oh yeah, but nobody uses public transport. well, no, because like people don't have to sell a kidney just to go to work. You know, it just doesn't. You know, it doesn't compute, does it? Why would you do that? You know, and I just think we should look in depth more. And I've responded to the transport consultation thing. You know, and I did the questionnaire. I said, you know, reasons why I think we should look at. Are you going to let me go, or are you just going to be a bell end? Well, I'm going anyway. We need to look at why. What's the cause for all the traffic? Why do we need another crossing? Why do we need to decimate yet more farmland, more countryside? They say people don't get out and about enough as it is. And then everywhere you go, there's fences, you know, and reasons why you can't go to places. You can't cross here, you can't cross there, you got to do this, you got to do that. You know, there's always a reason why you can't get out and explore the countryside. But they don't see it, bless them. They really don't get it. They really don't understand it. But there we go. So I think we need to take a more in-depth look at why we need a Lower Thames Crossing before we go sending in bulldozers and all the rest of it. Why? Why? What can we do to cut the need for a Lower Thames Crossing? Why do we need to be digging up yet more countryside, chopping down yet more trees? You go down to the A249, a couple of junctions along. I'm at junction 3 now. Junction 5, they're building they're redesigning the whole junction. They're putting in a flyover, keeping blokes working. They're putting in a flyover. They're putting in, you know, a new roundabout and a whole new system. It's going to be completely revamped. Big cost. Because going north to south or south to north in this county is ridiculous. Why not just improve the public transport system? But no, because they want to keep building and building and building and building and developing and developing and developing. Wholesale destruction of the countryside. You know, they're just steaming along with just reckless abandon, just developing over absolutely everything. As you go further east, you know, Ashford is really getting hammered. Canterbury is getting hammered. Faversham is getting hammered, and just a relentless onslaught of development. You know, they really are getting the good news down there, down that end of the county. But there's no infrastructure. There's no infrastructure. This is the problem. They're not doing it properly. High Halstow, where I go along one of my routes, that's been developed something terrible. But the road, the country lanes in and out, are exactly the same as they've been for 20 years. You know, they're exactly the same as they've always been. Little narrow one-track country roads. But they won't develop. They won't develop the roads. They won't put in cycle lanes or anything like that, because that just costs too much money and it's too much aggravation. Why should we? You know, I went to a development meeting years ago, and I said, what about doctors and all the rest of it? And the developer said to me, well, how's that down to us to put in a doctor's surgery? And I said, well, because you're the ones that want to develop it and ruin our countryside. I said, you're the ones that are gaining. I said, we gain nothing out of it. I said, we here will gain nothing from your development apart from more traffic and more congestion and more problems. You know? And he said, oh, well, and this is what he said to me, and I swear this is true. He said, well, maybe a doctor could buy a house and convert it to a surgery. I said, yeah, that'll happen. I said, seriously, bro? I said, what's the matter with you? I said, nothing. They're not going to do that. Doctors are intelligent people. They're not going to spend their own money. I said, you know, I said, it's up to you. I said, it's down to you. You want to come in into our area and develop stuff. build your development, put in thousands of homes and more cars, that's down to you. Why should it be on us? And this is the problem with the Lower Thames Crossing, is the people that live in that area are going to have years and years of disruption, dust, construction, noise, traffic, the scenery that they've got so used to seeing, people walk their dogs and what have you. It's all just going to change. It's all going to be decimated, and all because we're too short-sighted to work out the reasons why we need it. You know, and I did put that in the questionnaire. They emailed me this big questionnaire, the Highways England or whoever is in charge, and I did put those points across. We need to look at why. Can't we improve the public transport? Can't we improve everything that's to stop Dartford being swamped? Because Dartford, the people in Dartford, they really get it. They really get it when something happens. You know, the slightest little thing happens and Dartford is just gridlock. You know, it's... Look at that, look, a BMW, look at that. I flashed him out. He must have got the Z3 with the optional indicator pack. That's what's happened there. He must have only just bought that Beamer because he knew where the indicator stalk was. Yeah, alright mate, let me get past first. Guy in the red car, I don't know, he seems he's in a bigger hurry than I am, so let's just let him go scudding through. Off you go, go on. You're a big brave boy, go on, crack on. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on the Lower Thames Crossing. I know it's a bit rambly and I went on and on a bit, but thank you very much for watching. What I'm going to do is I'll make this available on Buy Me a Coffee for members and supporters for 24 hours before it goes live. I'll put the unlisted link on Buy Me a Coffee, so you know, members and supporters can see it there first for a full 24 hours before it goes live on YouTube. So, but that's my thoughts on the Lower Thames Crossing. Let's look at the real problem rather than just the symptoms. Thank you very much for watching. Take it easy. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.